guys, it's Geneviève from the Red Fairy Project. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to your weekly dose of inspiration to live healthy and happy. So, I'm sure that the title of this video probably intrigued you, and there is definitely a difference between what we want and we actually need. And this is something for me that I'm seeing as I get a bit older and wiser. And it was basically through experience and through mistakes, let's call them life lessons, that I realized that even though we probably usually have a good intuition and guidance to go towards what will make us happy, sometimes we don't always know best. And that can be for a job, for a romantic partner, for a house, for a neighborhood, for many different things. And in my case in particular, I can say that from a romantic relationship point of view, I thought that I wanted a certain thing, and then I realized that I needed something else, and there was a bit of a disconnect between what I thought I wanted and what I actually needed. And it took basically being with the wrong person to realize what I actually needed, and then eventually the right person with what I needed came along, luckily. So for the job situation, it was something similar, and I think that is something that we all go through, right? We usually, rarely, when we start on the path of dating and whatnot, we usually don't just meet one person and then stick with them for the rest of our lives. I think those situations are quite rare, and same thing for the job, especially our day. And in my generation, it's very rare, well, fortunately or unfortunately, that people stay with the same company, and you definitely don't stay in the same role for your whole life. So sometimes something from the outside, and this is something that we do, is often we'll focus more on the container rather than, let's say, the content. I can say that that is something that I did. I still do. I think by default we just kind of look at the surface of things sometimes, and sometimes that's all that we can look at to kind of make a judgment call and think, okay, well, yeah, that job seems interesting, or that person seems like they could be a good fit. And when I was a bit younger, I can give a concrete example. I was looking for, the good-looking guy, the kind of like, suave kind of guy, I don't want to say like a ladies' man, but a guy that was like very charming and very good like in social situations and whatnot. A guy that like made good money, and don't judge me. I mean, it's normal. Like I was, progressing in my career, and I wanted somebody that was kind of at the same level than me. So eventually I met somebody that kind of checked all those boxes. And with time, I was with this person for almost 4 years. Over time, I realized that although that person checked certain boxes, so I got what I want of that list of things, there were certain things that I needed that were really important. They were non-negotiables, and for me in a romantic relationship, and that person wasn't providing them. And once again, it's not to point the finger or say that there's anything wrong or bad about that person, but once again, it's about, is it a good fit or not? And for quite a while, I did try to kind of convince myself that no, I'm happy, this is the right person for me, I'm going to spend my life with this person. And this is something really personal, but I even started to try to have a child with this person. And as some of you might know, and that's a completely other video, I'm almost 41 now, and I don't want kids now. And when I was with that person, I at one point realized that I didn't want kids, but I somehow convinced myself, because he wanted kids, that, oh yeah, I want kids too. And we actually started, trying. So I could have a kid by now with the wrong person. So it's crazy when we think sometimes the things that we go after, and if we don't get them, I believe, and I believe this from a like personal relationship point of view and job, if you don't get what you want, often you're dodging a bullet. So some of us are like very driven, goal-oriented people, and we like kind of like grasp onto our goals and this vision that we have of our life, and we're kind of like, we don't want to let go. And we have to be careful, because A, there is a difference between what we want and sometimes what we need, and B, sometimes there's even something better that can come along, but we have to be open to that. And if we're just kind of like this, like eyes closed, like la 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 la, and grasping onto whatever we think is the this goal or this situation that will make us happy, then there might be a better alternative that might come along and we won't see it. So with time, I've started to let go, trust life more, and notice that there is a difference between sometimes what I want is exactly what I need, and that's great, but that's not always the case. And I feel as we get older and wiser and we know ourselves better and we learn certain lessons, we do start to kind of align that what we want and what we need. Usually it'll kind of align itself, but sometimes it can take, I mean, we are here, we're going to learn for a lifetime, and sometimes we might think that it could be, I don't know, getting married or having a kid or having a condo in town, when in fact maybe that's going to be stressful and we should be in the country. So let's be a little less controlling, if you will, and start to really understand that whatever we need will come our way if we can let go enough, be open, work towards what we want and what we think we need. But then if something isn't happening for us, and if it's not coming, maybe there's another option. And it can be even something in our life that happens to us that's a real blow, whether it's a separation, a divorce, I don't know, maybe you break up, there's a friendship that kind of blows up, maybe you lose your job. There can be different things, and I have to say, like, I've had a few of those examples in my life where I just thought it was the end of the world. What am I going to do? I had this perfect situation and I've lost it. I blew it somehow. And eventually I realized that it was really for the best, seriously. So I've learned to trust life a lot more. And I think that if we do that, we can really reduce our stress levels and finding that balance between striving for our goals, but then kind of taking a step back and seeing kind of how life flows, where life is kind of trying to bring us, and trusting that a little bit more and being humble enough to say, okay, maybe there is a difference between what I want and what I actually need. And I have to say right now, from a personal, professional point of view, I'm so happy that certain things did blow up in my face and certain things just didn't work out as I expected, because other wonderful, wonderful things and people came into my life, and they are much, much better suited for me. And I believe that that can be the case for everybody. So let's just be a little more open. Let's create that openness, that trust. That can be scary for sure, but it can allow a lot of magic to take place. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any examples of that, please feel free to share it in the comments below. I always love that kind of story where we can, like, maybe it can inspire us to, once again, let go a little bit. And yeah, so I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week, and make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't done so yet, you can subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when there's a new video, which happens every Sunday. And you can also sign up for the weekly newsletter just to make sure that you get that weekly dose of inspiration to start your week right. So I love you guys very much, and I will see you soon. Bye.